I think I even mentioned it in a video or two ago. I've been toying with the idea of crushing or not crushing juniper and how that changes its flavor contribution to a spirit. So I thought I'd just come straight out and do a side-by-side test. Should we run it? How's it going, chasers? I hope you're having a kick-ass week. I'm Jesse, this is Still It, and today we're going to be doing a side-by-side test of juniper. It's 100% juniper in terms of botanicals. I'm not throwing anything else in there. I want to remove any distractions or noise, I guess, from this wee experiment. And I've very, very simply taken 800 mils of vodka into each jar, and I've put 30 grams of juniper berries into both. This one, I bet you didn't need me to tell you, is the one that's been crushed. Buttload of colour coming out of there. And these ones have not been crushed. They've just been soaking. Both have been soaking for 12 hours. Didn't want to do a giant maceration on this one. Just thought I'd, keep it relatively under control. And I don't have anything else to say, really. Let's just get stuck in, shall we? I'm going to get this put into here. Oh! My word, that was silly. I had that turned on and it was hot. Whoops. I'm hoping that doesn't affect things too badly. Normally I forget to plug it in. This time, apparently I turned it on and had it heating up without knowing. Silly of me. I've been sitting here for about 2 minutes just trying to decide if I screwed this little experiment up with that. I don't think I have. Obviously I lost a small amount of alcohol vapor. I'm not too worried about it. If it ends up tasting horrible at the end, I'm going to blame it on that. Well, we're up to temperature and no rifts in the time-space continuum have appeared, so I think we're okay. And I've taken a small amount of heads, once again, for the millionth time in this situation, not because of the alcohol cut side of things, purely because botanicals, that first little bit, taste nasty. So now, I just get to run this out. And I'm going to stop myself from doing what I normally do, which is tasting this the whole way through and commenting on it and thinking about it. I'm just going to let it run for a little while. And I'll do the same for the next one, and then we can compare. All right, I believe that this is dropping down to, that's 56%. I'm aiming for 55%. So I'm just going to talk to you for a second while that drops a little bit more. And I'm guessing by the time I get back to it, it's probably dropped to about 55% because it's dropping pretty quick. Yep. Boom. There we go. I'm just cutting it at 55%, not because that's necessarily where it's going to taste best. It's roughly around where I make my cuts for gin-like stuff. But so I can keep it consistent between the two, if that makes sense. All right, let me get rid of that, and I'll go empty this out so we can start the next one. All right, so let's get the second one in here. This is, of course, the crushed version. Oh, if you're wondering, this is the kale vodka that I made a little while ago as well. And we're on. Heating up. So why am I doing this? Well, basically, I've noticed that at least 3 different professional distillers that make really nice gin have mentioned to me that at least in part, sometimes, they will not crush the juniper. Interesting. I've always seen it crushed. So I've played around a couple of times just crushing or not crushing juniper in different things that I've tried out, small little batches like this. And I think I'm starting to notice a little bit of a difference in the exact flavors that carry over between crushed and not crushed. But it might all be in my head. And I figured the easiest way to figure it out is just to do this. Anyway, we'll wait until this one's done and I'll check in with you and we can do a little taste test between the two. Sound good? While that's happening, this is a perfect time to tell you about the sponsor of today's show, which is, of course, Into the AM. If you don't know, guys, they're the people that make all of these dope shirts that I've been wearing throughout this episode. All of the others I love. They're cool. The hoodie, very nice. But this one has a special place in my heart because it's a collaboration between the Chasers of the Craft and Into the AM. And I know there's a bunch of you guys out there that love it because I've seen how many some of you own. By the way, the Lunar Spirits shirt, this one, is now available in tank top version. So if you're into, getting the old guns out, If not, that's totally fine with me. We may be working on a new shirt, but they've just released a bunch of other really cool designs as well. So here's some of the new shirts. If you're into them, you can check them out. There's a link in the description down below. Use that link. It'll send you over there and get you 10% discount. So let's get these proofed down by, well, down to 40% ABV. This is the crushed version. This is the not crushed version. They need water. And I haven't tasted them yet, but, you know, I can't help but smell what's going on. And I think what I'm assuming is going to happen has happened. Let's give it a fair chance, shall we? I'm trying to put all of that out of my head. Yep. All right, before I say anything, two things. One, this is in this situation. This is me using these techniques on this still with the specific juniper berries I have, so on and so forth. Things might be different for you. Different size still, different, you know, longer, different vapor paths. Putting the botanicals in the vapor path versus in the pot, maceration length, so on and so forth. There's probably going to be changes, so don't just believe what I say. If you're intrigued by it and you want to try it, test it in your situation and see if it holds true for you. If it does, awesome, let us know. If it doesn't, even better, let us know down below. Number two, there's just going to be, I mean, it makes sense to me, right, that there's going to be a whole lot more flavor in the crushed juniper berries version. That makes sense to me, especially only with a 12-hour maceration. Yes, 100% I could repeat this experiment and try more juniper berries, uncrushed versus less crushed, the same amount of juniper berries, but a longer maceration for the uncrushed version. You get the point, right? You could try and level out the overall amount of flavor between the two and then compare difference in flavor. That's not what we're doing today. I've just done exactly the same thing. So the first thing is 100% there is less flavor in the uncrushed version. Way less flavor. It's there, don't get me wrong, but after drinking the crushed version, it's actually kind of hard to taste it. Let me rinse out with water and have another go. Yeah, it's totally there. There is quite a lot of juniper flavor in there, but after drinking the crushed version, I almost can't taste anything. So what's the big difference? What am I going on about all this for? Why do I care? The big difference to me is the uncrushed junipers bring out the sweet berry-like flavor of juniper. That's what it accentuates, and that's what it brings to the forward most. There's no big finish afterwards. There's no big, like, tarry, resiny, tarry's the wrong word, resiny coating feeling that lingers in your mouth. This, on the other hand, I have to imagine brings out exactly the same amount of berry, but it tastes like a Christmas tree. It's resiny, it's almost dank, not quite. It's pine tree-ish. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I think this is what people think of when they think of juniper. I think, at least for me, I didn't realize juniper could be kind of sweet and berry-like. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe that. But I didn't know juniper could present like this. It is, funnily enough, all of the flavor that's in here without the resininess. If you imagine sipping it, yeah, it's like sipping really strong juniper flavor without swallowing it. It's after you swallow that you get that big, long finish. Big, resiny, long finish. I'm not here to say which is good and which is bad. I'm just here to say that it's interesting to me that you can push these in two different directions, right? I smashed the heck out of these berries, pulverized them to accentuate this difference. So perhaps you could play with how hard you smash them. Or you could perhaps play with different ratios, put through 60% of your berries like this and only 40% crushed. Perhaps that's something you could play with. The number I'm making up, obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying you could look at doing fractions of crushed versus not crushed. But I'm glad I did this experiment, right? Because I can now wholeheartedly say that yes, I do think, in this one instance, at the very least, There is a very significant difference between the two. If you just want flavor, heaps and heaps of flavor, and you are happy to take that full-on resiny juniper Christmas tree-like flavor, if you want to be a little bit more subtle, perhaps use a little bit more juniper in your recipe, you know, double the amount of juniper you're putting in, for example, but you want to accentuate that more soft, berry-like sweet side of the juniper flavor, don't crush it. It's up to you. Anyway, I need to say a huge, huge thank you to the Patreons. Thank you, Patreons, for helping me day in, day out, supporting me day in, day out. I thoroughly appreciate it. So, you know, thanks, guys. If you're out there and enjoying these videos, you're finding value in them, and you'd like to become a Patreon, I would love to see you over on the Patreon platform. There'll be a link in the description down below. If you don't like Patreon, I get it. Trust me, I get it. You can think about becoming a YouTube member instead. Anyway, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, if you've learned something, thumbs up. Comment in the comment section down below. If you think I missed something, or you've got some of your own learning that you can add to the discussion, comment in the comment section down below. And I'll catch you next time, guys. Keep on chasing the craft. See ya.